The Inyatsi Swazi Frontier is proudly brought to you by Inyatsi Construction Group, leaders in construction.
You know, you look up here and you only see mountains around you. You don't see a road, you don't see a car, you don't see a little town. Swaziland is small at the end of the day, but you actually get lost in it very quickly.
To have been on the map when mountain biking was in its infancy and still be here today is quite an achievement that we're proud of.
No, it's just a wonderful special event. On a small scale, small number of people you get to know really well by the end of the event. So it's about the relationships you build, I guess. It's amazing coming to Swaziland. It's nearby to Johannesburg. As soon as you cross the border, it's like you can take a deep breath. It kind of feels a little bit slower. The people are friendly. It just feels like there's a slightly slower pace that comes out of it.
We'll leave the great indoors. So kick off your shoes, it's been a long week.
Welcome to the 10th edition of the Inyatsi Swazi Frontier, an adventurous mountain bike stage race with a unique Swazi flavor. With Inyatsi Construction on board as title sponsor for the next 3 years, it will remain true to its promise to deliver mountain bike enthusiasts with an unforgettable experience. Brutal climbs for the mountain goats, blistering descents for the technical gurus, breathtaking scenery, and countless river crossings. It is an expansive journey showcasing the diversity of Swaziland's terrain.
So what attracts me to the race is it's a combination of having like a solitariness as well as like a massive challenge. It's difficult, it's not easy. You get to be sort of right out there without a lot of help sort of left and right of you. You need to look after yourself, and at the same time it's physically extremely challenging. And that combined with wonderful relationships you build with the people and the friendships and the kind of camaraderie you get out of people when you have issues along the way, people are willing to stop. There's no major kind of racing environment around here, but people ride as hard as they can, as they always do. And it's the combination of the camaraderie and the challenge that I get like a real buzz out of it. It makes it worthwhile.
I think part of the attraction was the concept that we were coming to Swaziland. It's been a place I've wanted to come to for many years. I never thought I'd do so on a bicycle, but to be able to come here, I'm glad it was on a bicycle because you can get to places that you typically are not going to drive to, and to see the beauty and the experience that we have been able to see, and then starting up high like that and being in the mountains and then coming down lower and riding among the villages and getting to see the little children and the excitement of the little children when they see you coming past and understand that the culture of the place, as limited as we can with the 3 days. It's just been a unique experience and a beautiful country.
I like the wildness of the race. I like the fact that it's going through a remote, rural area, that it's not super manicured. The track is a bit rough around the edges in places, but it's exciting and it's a big adventure.
This is surreal. This is just, the beauty, the landscape today, the track was just, this is like virgin territory.
An unmarked route is an unusual thing. The terrain we go through is diverse. It's rural, it's quite tough in places, and it's remote. You know, it really it's spectacular actually. Malolocha is spectacular. It's a high-felt nature reserve, wildlife sanctuary, and it offers beautiful hikes, beautiful vistas, and the mountain biking in here is really awesome.
I think it's completely different. It's not this no kilometers free. You either work in downhill or you're concentrating getting up the hill. It's mainly track, but like proper track. It's not a woven district road, and it's not specifically made single track. It tends to be walking paths or a linking path, which is, the concentration has to be high. You're not going flat out along it, so you look back, you look down the valley, you look across the valley, where often, you know, you're not concentrating, you're just concentrating on the wheel in front of you, and yeah, you tend to look around, because from a navigational point of view, you need your bearings the whole time. And that alone is worth the trip. You actually see Swaziland and not just the wheel in front of you.
Part of what we try to achieve with the Swazi frontier is to put something back into riders who are showing an interest and who just need a bit of a foot up and a bit of support to get themselves into a position where they can race. So at the moment we've got 3 very capable riders. There's Sifiso and Mduduzi, who are 18, 19 years old, and Siharu, who's a few years older than them. They've certainly come to the top of the pile in Swazi mountain biking, and we want to try and assist them with, you know, to go beyond the borders and compete in SA, you know, try and get some international exposure and fly the flag.
Well, I think the race is certainly an attraction for Swaziland. It certainly draws people to consider coming to Swaziland for a holiday. We have many people that come and do the race. They've never been to Swaziland before. They are just amazed at how awesome the scenery is, especially today on day 1. The guys have just crossed the finish line, and they've said that the route was just amazing. It was so beautiful.
You do so many events every year, and it's all about racing, and I think this is about riding. It's one of the few events you just come out and you have fun.
Perfect conditions, thanks to the morning mist, kept riders cool as they tackled this tough first day. An old forestry cutting creates an exhilarating switchback descent down Heenan's staircase. The indigenous forest along the stream below forms a cool canopy over the river crossing of brown crocodile. The defending champions Swaziland's Sifiso Mhlanga and Sihawu Dlamini had led for most of the day. A broken chain on 2 Brutal saw them lose their lead to South Africans Guy Pittman and Nick Lockett, who seized the opportunity to take a well-earned win on day 1. In the mixed category, Mark and Charlize Wiedeke finished first, whilst Jacqueline Nutman and Nina Hind were the leading ladies team. A misty morning in Bulembu greeted the riders after a good night's sleep in the comfortable accommodation. Each day is about 60 kilometers, but day 2 is easier on the body as there is less climbing than day 1. The long flowing descents and the magical Umganda Valley with over 30 river crossings makes this day a favorite amongst most riders. It started with some short climbs from the race village in the former mining town of Bulembu, now known for its forestry, dairy, honey and bottled water. Some light overnight rainfall brought perfect temperatures early in the day.
The whole concept behind the route cards really does add a touch of excitement to it. Instead of just going and doing a route that's pre-marked and just following it blindly, you've got a bit of negotiation. Getting lost is part of the fun. So I think that was the big thing as well.
The route cards, it's like a simple back to orienteering, but what it does is keeps groups together. You actually end up chatting to the people around you.
The navigation element is very straightforward and it's very accurate. The route cards give you your location, there's a small description to tell you where you are. We try to get the riders to find their bearings, to pay attention to where they are, to soak up the scenery and orientate themselves along the route.
Definitely the navigation, for me, makes up sort of between 15 and 20% of the whole sort of excitement.
I think it adds an element of, well, everyone's got to be reading these directions and yeah, anything can happen.
So I think the basic idea is to be riding an unmarked route. Obviously, there's certain sections that you will find a bit cumbersome to ride using the route cards that we use. So we just choose to mark certain sections that either are quite tricky and we might find people taking a wrong turn at a critical point and that could cost them quite a lot of time and effort, or on reasonably decent descents and where there's a few turns here and there and you don't want people to slow down and then lose the enjoyment of that downhill.
Teams jostled for position as they climbed gently up through the plantation, keeping a steady pace. The indigenous forest marked the start of a thrilling descent leading to Umganda Valley, a magical place where time has stood still. Remote, rural and isolated.
Day 2 has got a fabulous valley called the Umganda Valley, which flows into the Lamati Valley, and it's become quite a highlight for anyone who's come to Swazi. It's just quite spectacular. A lot of stream crossings that are very rideable. It's very fast flowing. It's, you know, you're following the river for 15 or so k's. and that's a very special place. It's quite untouched, and it's rural and it's remote. The personality of the event, I think, being a small boutique event, the people that come here are very engaging, very open, very friendly, and the spirits out there on the ride and at the race villages, it's really awesome. It's a very nice, relaxed vibe and good bunch of people.
This day ended with the Popper, a manageable climb beneath the indigenous forest canopy of Poponyane Nature Reserve. Once again, this is where the racing teams made their move. First to cross the finish line at Pigs Peak Hotel were the Mkulu team of Martin Lamprecht and Etienne van Cake, who outsmarted the field with great navigation.
I think one of the big attractions is comfort. Comfortable rooms that we stay in every night, the comfortable lodges, staying in proper beds and bedding, no queuing, because the race is a boutique stage race with a small field. It means that everything is a lot more manageable.
You've got your own bathroom, your own toilet, you sleep in a bed every night. What more could you want from a stage race? You don't feel like they're churning you out by the number. It's still got that personal touch.
The service and the accommodation and just the hospitality, it's been really, really good.
Fortified by massages, fine food and the hotel's luxurious bedrooms, there was great excitement at the start line of Day 3. Riders found their rhythm along the short section through the plantation before getting to the single track. Once in the game reserve, more fast-flowing downhill through the bushveld towards the valley below. Local homesteads line the way towards the water point at Sokula Care Point. A small wattle and daub structure is currently used to provide basic learning to over 30 children. Another 60 join them for lunch each day. Lunch is prepared on a 3-legged pot on an outside fire. Proceeds from the race have been used to build a classroom, kitchen, storeroom as well as a toilet block, all due for completion this year.
2015 Swazi Frontier, sponsored by Inyatsi Construction. Unfortunately, I could not join because of my recent accident, but it's been good to be on the other side of the race. The supporting team does do a great job, and I'm pleased to be part of it. Inyatsi Construction is a road construction earthworks, and we open roads not just for the public, also opportunities for the community. And Sukuza Preschool, the project that you've got going at the moment, sponsored by Swazi Frontier, is one of our programs.
It's a real privilege to be able to come out and to ride in this beautiful countryside. It certainly beats being in the office. I work for Inyatsi, who have taken over the sponsorship this year. You know, there's been a good foundation set over the last 9 years. We've come in now the 10th year and we're sponsoring. And together with Logico, with the previous sponsors, we managed to put together funds through the race to build this care centre, which is a real honour for us to be involved in something like that.
Earlier in the day, the racing snakes were having a tough time keeping up with the Swazi team of Sifiso and Sihau. The youngsters opened up a commanding lead as they headed for the gap. This is where the Komati River narrows to just a meter and flows under the rocks before reappearing in the gorge below. Sifiso and Sihau grab an impressive stage victory as they cross the line at Makuka Lodge. The overall results of the Inyatsi Swazi Frontier 2015 saw Guy and Nick hang on to win the men's category ahead of the two young Swazi teams. In the ladies category, it was Jacqueline and Nina taking the spoils. An exciting win on day 3 in the mixed category saw Renee Skuman and Anton Wood take the overall Lion honours. Martin and Etienne went on to dominate the Mkulu section. Adam Grieve and Terence Stewart brought it home in the Buffalo category. The Inyatsi Swazi Frontier is a tough but inspirational stage race with a unique spirit of camaraderie and adventure. The Inyatsi Swazi Frontier was proudly brought to you by Inyatsi Construction Group, leaders in construction.